that's the one.
Okay, so I will try and admit further participants as they come in. A little bit of multitasking from the host here, but it should be fine. So people will come in as we continue on. So first of all, I'd like to welcome you to Harvest HR and People Solutions launch. My name's Marie Hereth and I am Director of Harvest Talent Recruitment and People Solutions. So first of all, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of our land, the Wathaurong people, and pay my respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging. Usual Zoom rules apply, so please keep yourself muted, and yes, we can then ramp through the launch today. So first of all, I'm in the room today, and we've got a couple of others from Harvest, but I'd like to introduce you to a new person that's joined Harvest just recently, but we're advancing a lot of service streams, and we have brought Robert Vick into the team to be our industry engagement manager. So he might be the person that's following up with you to discuss some of the programs that we are launching. So Robert, I'll hand it over to you very quickly.
Thanks, Marie, and hi everyone. Really excited to join Harvest. Really exciting programs lined up for this year, and I really look forward to meeting you all to take you through those programs and what we've got in store, as well as some programs in the pipeline as well. So I'll keep it brief for now, but really look forward to meeting everyone in the near future. Thanks, Marie.
Thanks, Robert. So Harvest has been the host of the Geelong HR Roundtable for, this is our 7th year. So it's been an offering that we've provided for some time, and we've continued to add pieces to the program year on year. And so we have a full prospectus of events, and that was shared with you yesterday in the confirmation of today's event. And so you've got access to the full calendar and program that we're launching this year. So we actually launch in a couple of weeks with our first Geelong HR Roundtable. But I'll walk you through the evolution of Harvest's program, particularly in that people solutions area. So we've landed with 6 key pillars that we are providing offerings around, and they include HR strategy. They also include workforce planning and talent management. They include mental health and wellbeing. And also we have a host of programs, and I'll go into each of the pillars. So that's why I'm not talking to all of the pillars right now, what we have under each pillar. And the first access point, of course, is the Geelong HR Roundtable. After that, the access points can be a half-day workshop or a full-day workshop on a specific topic. And finally, you can go through a 4 to 6 session program in specific areas that resonate with your organisation and your team members. And we also have a HR breakfast penned for later this year. So I'll go into the pillars a little bit further. So first of all, HR strategy. Now this came up with many in HR that were looking to collaborate at the executive level. And so we last year launched the HR Leaders Lunch, and it's an intimate setting, and it brings the leaders of the region's HR divisions together. Chatham House rules apply, but that's where you can dig deep into what's going on, what you're facing in terms of the challenges in your organisations and with your teams, and also just discuss some of the things that have worked for you over the previous period. So they took off last year and were really well received. Then there's no guest speaker. It's really just nutting out with your peers the elements that are, I guess, topical right now. Now, in terms of the consultancy that we provide, there's an example there. I'm just checking my phone. Somebody's going, that they're trying to get into the room. So a situation occurred last year. It was actually this time last year where we were assisting one of the Southwest region, Southwest of Victoria regions council with the restructure of their recruitment team. And during that time, the interim HR manager fell ill. So we were able to very quickly place an acting HR manager. So she took on the overall strategy for the HR division and stayed with them for approximately 4 months until that team was bedded in. As I said, organisation design, workforce planning and talent management. So we've got and we've held HR roundtables, particularly on workforce planning. And I see we have Leanne Perryman from Surf Coast Shire, and I think you're one of the key beneficiaries of the workforce planning masterclass as well that we did last year, and then some further consultancy. As the local governments and anyone in local government knows, there was a workforce plan that needed to be delivered by January of this year. And we had one of our HR Nexus partners who presented at the roundtable also continue on with some consultancy for our clients. Other things that we have been engaged for, which you might not know, is remuneration and rewards review. We had a human rights organisation that needed to review its staff, review its classifications, and we had a consultant come in for 6 weeks to review that for them. And we've also assisted organisations when there's new regulations, so that might have impact on their talent and talent management. So we have 2 events lined up. As I said, in a couple of weeks' time, we've actually pushed the February one back to Friday. Just we needed to get a room that was COVID safe in terms of what we could house. So we're pleased that we've been able to gain Deakin University's waterfront room, and it's their largest room that can host a round table. And that will be on people management in a hybrid world. And we're going to be hosting some people from within industry that moved quite well to hybrid. Some went completely to homework. So we're going to have some of our people from the industry, heads of HR, heads of talent management, discuss how they approach that, as well as some subject matter experts discuss how they've navigated the hybrid workplace as well with their own employer and also with other organisations. Compliance and employee relations. This was a busy area for us during COVID, as we had quite a few organisations that needed mediation and investigation support. And we have qualified and registered mediators as part of our HR Nexus partner team. And they come in quite often for our clients where they need that third party and no conflict within the organisation. And so that was something that we assisted with. And also one of our HR Nexus partners, who's now embedded at Deakin, helped an organisation that was going through a new enterprise agreement negotiation and took them right through the process. So when they came on board, there was still a fair bit of work to do to ratify that agreement. Our leadership pillar, what we launched probably 4 years ago, I would say now, is our leadership pillar. We've provided masterclasses and roundtables on the subject. So we actually have access for a taster in our leadership programs by our leadership experts. What we found is we can broadcast message leadership, but leadership is really a journey, as you know. So we have HR Nexus partners, and within the prospectus that you have, there is a 6-session leadership program that you can take your team members through. And it might be one person from your organisation, might be several that can take through the organisation. Pillar 5, mental health and wellbeing, was a very sought after area for Harvest and our Nexus partners over the pandemic. And we did undertake a course of mental health and wellbeing programs, and they were short, sharp, shiny, but I think that's what people needed amidst the pandemic. pandemic. They were 30-minute webinars with our mental health and wellbeing consultants, and they went and they were very well received. We launched them April 2020, and we actually have a whole mental health and wellbeing program on the back of that. But two areas that were quite strong was mental health and mental injury in the workplace and cultivating resilience. And that's what led us to launch this piece of our program. We don't have a session dedicated to it for this year because we have, again, access for you to have tasters of the program, and we have embedded in the prospectus the actual program and what that looks like. So it can start with a half day, but also we have a 6-session program on mental health and wellbeing also. And the final pillar, which is probably the hottest topic for 2022, which is culture, employee value proposition, and the future of work. Obviously, one of the areas that organisations found they had to focus on as we emerge from the pandemic is really that refocus of company culture. And a lot of organisations are looking at either culture or capability. And a lot of the programs that we have for 2022, particularly our HR Roundtables, are around those areas. So, of course, people management in a hybrid world. As I said, we're going to hear later this month on how organisations have navigated and excelled in some cases in the hybrid workplace. We did a major program last year, a digital capability project, and that was part of the Regional Digital Fund. And it looked at digital skill sets within organisations, but not only for digital specialties, but also for corporate generalists. So that's anyone in an organisation that is using technology to perform their work. So we'll be launching a non-accredited training program, which can be accessed even through micro-credential badging. So there's a full course, but there's also areas where you can pick and choose, particularly based on your employees' abilities when it comes to using digital in the workplace. Finally, there is the future of work, which will be hosting on the 20th of July as a roundtable. So that's a little taster of just the roundtables. And I said in the prospectus, there's so much more than that, but it gives you the access points that you can come in and join your peers. They're very well subscribed, and you will get to know other people, whether it be executives within organisations that have the HR remit or heads of HR or HR peers, HR team members. So as I said, I guess our major part that has been a mainstay for Harvest, and as I said, into our 7th year, is the Geelong HR Roundtable. And we're only holding 3 this year. I think depending on whether we go Zoom or face-to-face, but we're really looking at face-to-face. But coming out of 2 years of a pandemic, there's not as much desire to come out more frequently than that, and we have to ensure that we're really hitting the mark with what our organisations and our employers are requiring, but not being overbearing. I mentioned the HR Leaders Lunch, so we've scheduled 2 for this year. And what I haven't mentioned is the Harvest HR Breakfast. Now, we launched a Harvest HR Breakfast in 2019 on the back of undertaking the HR index for the region. So it's called the Geelong HR Index, and we've completed 2. And the HR index surveys our employers on employment trends, but also some HR trends which we release after the survey. So in 2019, we undertook our first HR breakfast, and that showed a lot of changes. And it was one of the things that launched the Digital Capability Project, interestingly enough. But it also shows where the market is going. And so we're going to have some really interesting pieces. I know there's already such change in our landscape now. Our 2021 HR index, we released that online, and you can access some parts of that in the harvesthr.com.au website. Elements or reach out to us. I know, Marie, there's another Marie in the room today. You've got access to some pieces of the HR Index from last year. So we launched that one online, and that was an emerging from COVID theme. So there's really fascinating elements there, and the aspects are still relevant today as we still are emerging from the pandemic. But we'll have a new survey. We survey a minimum of 85 employers from the region. And so it's a really good sample that we're reporting on. And we also provide a HR Index report as well. So you get breakfast and a HR Index report. And that one's not only of interest to HR managers, but there's an economic piece to it. So we quite often get economic development units, Regional Development Victoria come to those sessions because they hear what our region's companies are addressing when it comes to employment and their people. And as I said, we've added HR workshops. So we now have workshops that you can access a program. It's not just a morning session, but it's a full learning and professional development program that you can access for your team. So the workshops are around leadership, future of work, mental health and wellbeing, and people management in that hybrid world. And finally, we have the professional development and non-accredited training. So this can be as small as a half-day workshop, but as large as a full-day workshop before you access the 4 to 6 session program. So again, in your prospectus, you will find elements that are listed there in the workshop and what that workshop could contain. We always look for co-design. So those half-day workshops and the curriculum that we've provided in the prospectus is definitely a working document. And if you go, I'd like to replace this piece with this piece, we're happy to work through with you. I mentioned the digital capability course, and that will launch in May of this year. And the full course is the $3,000 per person. However, you can access micro-credential pieces. So we'll be launching that in May this year. And one of our HR Nexus partners, and we're pleased to have her as part of our group, but she's getting oversubscribed, is accredited in mental health first aid training. So that can be accessed either individually or organisation-wide, should you wish. Now, one thing I've mentioned in this is our HR Nexus partners. So this is the calendar that you'll see that we've got dedicated for 2022. So even though we've only got 3 roundtables, there's still 6 events that we'll be hosting, but that's so that you can see it in a nutshell. And again, that's there in your prospectus to refer to. But I've mentioned HR Nexus partners. So we learn your needs. So we do that by doing the surveys, and of course, a lot of follow-up. So, I meet with a lot of the region's HR practitioners to really get to the heart of the challenge that they're facing, but also areas that they're interested in. So thought leadership, what's happening? What are some of the employers of choice doing to be able to learn and perhaps follow in their pathway, or perhaps we will entertain you for some of the things that you've been doing and host you on a panel as well. So we might provide learning to you. We might actually access you for some of the experiences you've had. And I know we've got some major employers in the room today. So I might be, or Robert might be on the phone to you to say, can you sit on a panel, share your experience? But our HR Nexus partners, that they're the specialists in their field. So they're the ones that have gone into organizations and talked and assisted them with bedding down things like hybrid working, hybrid leadership, looking at the future of work. What does that look like? Is it very complex, or is it just baby steps to be able to land in this new realm of working for the future? So we have approximately 15 Nexus partners that go into organizations. So they either go in on consultancy or they are the facilitators of our, not necessarily our roundtables, but of our half-day workshops, full-day workshops, and those 6-session programs, or 4 to 6 session programs. And they are highly specialised. They've normally been in their space for at least 10, 15 years, providing consultancy in the certain area that you would need. And I think some of the clients in the room can attest to getting stuck at certain points, depending what they needed to deliver at a certain point in time, and one of our consultants or partners came in and assisted and delivered what was required. Now, you'll see embedded in the presentation today, there's been some access for HR Nexus members. So our partners deliver and facilitate. Our members are the recipients or the beneficiaries of the service provision. So what we learnt in 2018, 2019, we're getting oversubscribed, particularly for our HR roundtables. And we need to, and particularly this year, ensure that we continue on with ensuring COVID safe environments, ensuring that, you feel safe coming into a roundtable environment. And so with that in hand, we created the Nexus membership, and there's specific access points, again, knowing what you have wanted in the past, and that's what we've created in terms of access points for the membership. At the very start of the membership, it gives you a seat at the table at the Geelong HR Roundtable. So that way you're already pre-registered, and so you don't need to worry at the start of the year. You get your calendar lined up for those events. So you can go, yep, I know, I'm going to be there February, May, July, October. They're the first four that you would be absolutely dedicated to. And certain other access points give access to the breakfast, access to the lunch. And then there's one final, and there's people in the room that are either business owners or directors, or interface with business owners and directors who perhaps don't have their own HR division. And it's quite common. Geelong is made up of a lot of small to medium businesses, but you hire staff yourself, and you have to touch on HR management yourself as the director, as the owner, as the divisional leader. And so we have a new membership that we've created this year that gives you access to HR consultancy to a maximum of 6 sessions in a year. And that allows you, when there's new legislation coming in or new government mandates. We saw those, and I'm preaching to the choir. A lot of HR practitioners were definitely embedded and embroiled in the last 2 years of those new mandates that came through again and again from the government. So if you're an owner, a divisional manager, or you touch on or work with business owners that do not have an HR division themselves, then we can bring in our HR specialists to assist with that. So we've got a small business that was looking at the casual conversion, and they've got all casuals and some of them longer term casuals. So we'll be going in and walking them through the framework for converting them to from casual to permanent, or giving that offering to their staff. So that's just an example of a small business that we've been working with. So just to let you know those access points. So the silver membership level gives you every roundtable. So you get access, as I said, a seat at the table for each of the Geelong HR roundtables that are available throughout the year. Then the gold access point is you get the HR breakfast. So that's very high value for money to be able to access the breakfast, the HR index results, which we'll be presenting later this year. And we've also provided a discount on any of the workshops that you see in the prospectus. And that highest order, and we just had a sign up from an accounting practice yesterday for the platinum membership level. And exactly that, you just need to manage the team and the team members, but don't know what you don't know. This is exactly the membership level for that group. So we know the region, and it's a privilege to have known the region for so long, that we can know where the need is and provide the solution. So I'll just finish with just some examples. These are just a little taster of the program and events that we've held in the past. And I will play the video and then I'll wrap up and leave you to get back to your day. All right. That is it. That is the launch. So an online launch is very much easier to cover. We did a face-to-face launch at the West End last week, and it was interesting because a lot of networking happened there, and it was a very short and quick launch from Harvest on our service offering for this year. But I just wanted to say thank you so much for your attendance today. Does anyone have any questions right now, or you're good to go and get back to your day? I'll take quiet as happy. You've got the PDF of the prospectus. Review it, and myself or Robert will be in touch, and we look forward to seeing you very shortly. Thank you so much, and thanks for your attendance today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.